What's up, everybody? Welcome to the official Fight Rant Live episode number 1. So,
Uno.
We're gonna start off today, I think, with the circus that was Bellator 149. Franklin, kick us off.
Bellator 149 with co-main event Dada 5000 versus Kimbo Slice, and the main event Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie. Let's talk about the Dada 5000 fight. This was
a heart stopper.
Yeah, literally. This is one of the main, and I mean, we're not really trying to make fun of in regards to like his condition there. What happened? That's kind of crazy. I mean, you put yourself into these situations, and this is what happens. These were guys that were pretty much, especially Dada 5000. He was unfit to be competing at a professional level on national TV. I mean, the fight went like I thought it was going to go. They both gassed out within like the first minute or two. Very, very sloppy. And Dada 5000, or I say Kimbo won by supposed knockout, but it was really pretty much Dada 5000 falling to the floor from exhaustion. And I thought something looked weird. And now today we're seeing the news that he went into like heart failure or something. His heart stopped beating, and he's doing good supposedly now. But that's what happens when you do these side shows, these like freak shows. You can't. Those are the reasons I feel like Bellator. They always try to make themselves like the second biggest option in MMA in the professional level, and they always go like 10 steps back. That's just. It wasn't a good showing in my opinion, and the fans there weren't liking it either. What are your opinions on that?
I just think it was crazy, man. For that to happen, Bellator, they got to stop doing that. I mean, they sign really old guys or unfit guys just because they have a name, and it's not safe. You know what I mean? This is a serious sport. You can't be doing that. It's I mean, I guess you can, but when something bad really happens, it's gonna look really bad. It's not a good idea. It's not a good look at all. They should really sign fighters that, to me, Bellator should be a place where, they're competing with UFC on a legitimate level, signing fighters and like real MMA fighters that are in shape and competing, like presently competing fighters, and they can make a good show like that. World Series of Fighting does it. They don't have a bunch of sideshows. They got guys that are competing and are in shape. I don't see why Bellator feels the need to, keep doing this. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's my take on it.
And they're owned by Viacom also. They have money. They can sign all the top talent. If they really, really, really wanted to, they could probably take most of the folks most of the top fighters, the elite fighters that the UFC has. They have Viacom money. That's their actual.
Yeah, they could at least make competitive offers and try to do things. I mean,
yeah. Supposedly they didn't even go for Alistair Overeem, and he just got re-signed to the UFC. They didn't go for Aljamain Sterling either. They got Benson Henderson. That's a good pickup there, but man.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the statement from the Harris family, and they in the note itself they stated that the doctors have now informed us that Dada had accumulated extremely high levels of potassium in his blood, which led to severe dehydration, fatigue, and renal failure. The high potassium levels were likely caused by his 40-pound weight loss in preparation for the fight. They asked the public and media to respect Dada's privacy as he recovers, and that's exactly what we're talking about here. When I say that this was a heart stopper, it literally was a heart stopper, and it was something that shouldn't be taken lightly by Bellator itself or any of the MMA promotions. This is something that's just ridiculous for this guy to have heart failure because he had to lose 40 pounds just to get into a fight. That's something that shouldn't be done and shouldn't be thought of whatsoever. And I understand the competition that's going on, but you want to get those fighters that can perform, not push out those fighters that cannot perform. And if you, just because you think you're gonna get a few extra bucks or some good ratings.
Some ratings, yeah. I mean, he wasn't, and it's not even that. He dropped those pounds or whatnot, but it's not like he's a professional athlete. I mean, you just look at him. He was not in shape to begin with. That's just craziness, man. And I knew. I mean, when it happened, they're going at it. I was actually expecting Kimbo to knock him out the first round. I was surprised that it went the way it went. Kimbo went for the takedown and whatnot, and that's how they gassed each other out. Because Kimbo's he's not elite, but he's technically he's okay with his hands. I mean, he's knocking people out. Yeah, I mean, his boxing is pretty decent. It's pretty good. I mean, he went to pro boxing. I think he went 6 or 7-0 or something like that, and then he left that also and came back to MMA. But I actually thought he was going to knock him out the first round and whatnot. But I mean, what happened, and I had a feeling something bad really happened. The way I saw him go down, it looked like he was out of it. And then they put him in the stretcher. I looked at when they put the camera on his eyes, something looked off. And I was saying it. I believe I told Lee before the news even came up, and then news comes up today. Boom, his heart stopped and all this stuff. That's just craziness. Moving on though to the Gracie and Hoist Gracie and Ken Shamrock. It was okay. I mean, 49-year-old Hoist Gracie and Ken Shamrock 52. What can you really expect? It was okay. I mean, you know what surprised me? That Hoist Gracie actually came out and he's actually striking, bro. He's decent kicks and all of that. He finally got him down. I believe what was the third round? I believe it was, and caught him for shot. It looked like there was some controversy because it was like a knee that was close to the groin or like an illegal shot. I didn't really think it was, but supposedly that's what happened. You saw Ken Shamrock kind of complaining towards the end. It went down, and I mean they stopped it on a stoppage. It was what it was. It wasn't really. It wasn't all that exciting to me. I mean, I'm used to seeing kind of like top tier elite in the UFC. So I mean, this was what it was. It was kind of like a sideshow freak show.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. At least that fight was a real fight, even though they were old, far out of their primes, but. Those were professional fighters that knew exactly what they were getting into and were able to compete on some level. I mean, it's not going to be elite level at that age, but, it was a fight at least.
Yeah, I saw that.
I guess Shamrock was complaining about a knee to the midsection, and then he called it a low blow. And he was stating that it was done on purpose. It was purposely done by Gracie, and I think that's where that's going. But I mean, they're aged fighters, so you're gonna get the best you're gonna get, and that was it. I feel. I don't think it's gonna get any better than that at that age.
There was some decent fights earlier in that card there, but it was okay. It wasn't. Nothing to get too excited about in regards to that card.
Yeah.
I just wish Shamrock would have gone into MMA wave before he decided to do so. Maybe while he was spending his time at WWE or F at the time. He was already established by then. He was already pretty much an MMA legend at that time. I mean, he left it and he went to the WWE. He was there for a good while. He turned into one of their stars. Man, yeah, I mean, that's one thing that actually makes me question this, because a lot of people say that he's going back to this is because of money problems. That's why he keeps coming back. And I've thought, I'm like, he's made decent amount of money just from MMA, and then he was with WWE, WWF at the time. For a nice little decent time there, and I know that they don't pay bad there either. It's crazy that they don't manage their finances good, man, and that's what happens. They're fighting and they're 52 years old. Yeah. Well, I mean, Bellator, if that's the best that they're gonna have to use as competition, I'm not impressed. I mean, it took me a a while for you to get me into the UFC, and I love it. And I think great fighters are there, and it's very impressive lineups, back after back after back. I look at Bellator, and I'm not impressed at all. I mean, I see a lot of wrestling matches that are better than what I see in Bellator lots of times. So, yeah, if they're thinking about competing with the UFC, I think maybe they should step it up. But while we're there on the whole MMA section, let's talk about Ronda Rousey and her suicide thoughts. She came out on Ellen, and she commented that she was contemplating suicide while she was at the hospital because she felt that she lost it all. She didn't know what to do. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, that caught me off guard. That really caught me off guard, and in a way, kind of disappointed me because I would have never thought that Ronda Rousey, that would have been like her initial reaction to this. Like I would have just, the way she's always carried herself, the pride and her head held up high and everything. She never bows down to anyone. I actually just thought she was going to go with this and pretty much kind of like have an attitude like, I have to come back. I have to come back better. I'm going to annihilate her. I would have never thought that she would have been thinking.
I think that is her attitude. But, she, at that moment in time, I think she was just talking about that very moment afterward, like her first private moments were just that hard for her. Everything else I saw from the interview seemed, she sounds like she wants to come back and thinks that she's going to, get her belt back.
I'm a big Ronda Rousey fan. You guys know that. I'm a big fan of hers. But it didn't, even her demeanor and everything, the way she was hiding from the camera and everything, I would have never saw that from her. Seriously, I never thought she was going to do that. And I've been that comment that she made in regards to like suicide. I've been kind of thinking the same way. Maybe it was just like an initial little thought that came through, and that's what she's talking about. Or was it? Or really, what exactly was it? Does she really need like professional help? Like a lot of folks are talking about that too, because that's kind of crazy. There, I don't think I've ever heard of a fighter lose a fight and say that they thought about killing themselves after that fight. Instead of thinking, "Oh, I gotta come back and beat this person," they're actually thinking about, "What am I?" Because that's what she said. She's like, "What am I if I'm not this?"
I mean, you got to look at it this way. She spends, way more time involving herself in UFC and MMA than a lot of the other fighters. I mean, so she may really well feel as if her entire, or not entire, but the big bulk of her life is spent with UFC and promoting her character and who she is and her undefeatable, way of being, and then all of a sudden that's just gone. So she has to kind of reinvent herself in UFC. You can't keep walking around talking about how nobody can ever beat you and you're gonna, crush everybody instantly, and that's not gonna work anymore.
I think that's what it is. She had something solid that was always the constant, and when that constant changed, it blew her mind. And at that time and moment where she felt the most vulnerable, everybody was hitting her up on Twitter and her Facebook and whatever other social media sites she might have, doing what they do best. I did send her a message and I let her know maybe she should have worked out her boxing a little better, which I did feel that I was right about it, because what happened, I completely predicted that fight from beginning to the end. Franklin and I saw the fight, and I kept saying, "Oh, here it comes. I'm getting off of my couch," and he's sinking into his couch, and all of a sudden, boom, there it is. That's what happened. You see, you should have worked on this. You should have worked on that. Again, that's also my passion as well. So there might be a little bias there, but it wasn't anything negative where it's like, "Hey, Ronda, you suck," or "Hey, now you can go kill yourself," or something. It wasn't anything negative like that, but there are a lot of people in social media that will say that, and that's just something that, as a professional, especially her being in the spotlight the way that she is, kind of like McGregor is now as well, they need to know that you're gonna get that, and those are things that you just have to brush off and keep it moving because that just comes with the territory. I think she's gonna do great. Like we said before, I believe that Misha might just beat Holly Holmes, and I would love to see Misha against Ronda Rousey soon. And hopefully, we get the best fight we've seen in women's UFC.
Yeah, I mean, I called it. I called this GI since before Holly Holmes, and you know that Lee also since before she was signed to the UFC. I always thought, I'm like, this could be the one. This could be the one. And before this fight came up, also, I was also saying, I'm like, Ronda's just doing way too much. Movies, then another movie, then writes a book. Then she goes on a book tour, book signings, TV shows. When exactly are you getting better at your craft? When exactly are you getting better at MMA when you're doing all this other stuff? I mean, a minute, I believe a minute and a half into that fight, she had her mouth open. She was like gasping for air. It was very weird, man. So I mean, I always thought
she did say she got rocked so early, and she was just totally out of it, you know.
She said she was out from the first punch.
Yeah, I mean,
first big punch. Yeah,
it's a tough scenario. I mean, I really I love Ronda, man. Like that, she is without a doubt, you know, one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, and I think she'll come back better. She'll come back stronger. I don't know if, you know, sticking with the coach she has now is the right move at all. I probably wouldn't, you know, but whatever she does, I believe she's smart, she's strong, she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she should be able to come back and fight better than she did the last time.
And I think that's something else that Ronda should maybe concentrate on is, how they say, take care of your home first before you take care of everything else. That whole problem between her mom and the coach, that might be a big issue as well.
That's another one.
That might be affecting her a lot, and that's something you got to nip in the bud, take care of it. Whether it's tell your mom to mind her business, or I understand or appreciate it, but I'm gonna go this way, or telling the coach, hey, I think my mom's right. She's been right for a long time. She got me where I am now, and I think I'm gonna go somewhere else.
That's another big distraction because she had that distraction, and then she also had when it broke out that she was with Travis Brown, and Travis Brown, he still hasn't officially divorced his wife, and there was this supposedly domestic violence stuff going on. It's been allegedly proven that that really didn't happen and whatnot. But whatever it is, I know
that's a lot of things, man. That's a lot of things on one person's plate at the same time. Yeah,
and then you're dealing with Hollywood and left and right. Yeah, it's just too much going on, and
even celebrities turned on her. If you don't remember, Donald Trump, Lady Gaga, speaking celebrities tweeting and stuff. They were glad she lost, and it was a lot of stuff. I guess it was a lot of stuff to take in. Yeah, but going back to the actual the main topic there, her and suicide. I would have never thought she would even. That would even enter her mind, especially with her dad. What happened with his dad? With her dad, he had committed suicide and whatnot. I would have never I just would have never thought that. When she said that in the show, it blew me away. I was like, wow, I cannot believe she actually, even for a slight second, thought that.
You know what's funny though is that a lot of people came out and said, like, I saw a lot of negative comments about it where people said they respect her less for saying that. And to me, I respect her more because she let her entire being out on TV. She cried. It was emotional. I respect that. Like, she didn't have to do that. And, she just did it. And I think that touches into her human side. A lot of people look at her like she's just a show. She's just an object. She's just, like...
Yeah. And you're right about that. I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying, that maybe she let her guard down and that they don't appreciate her because now she stated that. And sometimes people take something when someone becomes vulnerable and they take it to another level. and I mean that's just something that people are gonna have to deal with. She spoke her truth. You like it, you don't like it. That's up to you. And hopefully, Ronda comes back and she's the best that can be, God willing. And on that note, as well, talking about people thinking about what they want and about God. Let's talk about Manny Pacquiao.
Oh man.
This comes off as
No
a
bueno, man. No bueno.
bomb. This happened off what was that, Thursday, Wednesday? Around that time, Manny stated that people who sleep, men who sleep with other men or women that sleep with other women, are basically worse than animals because animals don't do that in that kind of sense. And then Nike dropped him because of it, and he then posted something on Instagram, which I believe he took down, where he stated that he supported Nike's decision, but he stands by his. And then he put in some words from Leviticus from the Bible. What are your thoughts, guys, on that?
That's just. I personally, I just thought he shouldn't even touch things like that. But I guess I can see where he's coming from. He's very religious, and then he's running for. I mean, I know he's a politician out there in this country. I'm not really sure what he wants to accomplish out there, but I guess maybe that's a popular view in this country. I really don't know. I don't know why he even touched on anything like that. He's lucky he's towards the end of his career. That's pretty much like career suicide.
I mean, he basically ended his career before it's over. I mean,
yeah, before it's over. And at the same time, you just made, what do you make, 150 million? I can imagine how many millions of those the folks around the world, because they did what, 4+ million pay-per-view buys. Imagine the percentage of these folks that paid for this fight, that made them even richer. The percentage of them that were from the the gay community. I mean, the lesbian gay community. It's just crazy, man. Not sure why he even got into that or would even say something like that. That's just crazy.
I was saying before. I think is more of a, he's transitioning out of boxing and he's going into focusing more on his politics. And the Philippines is highly Catholic. And that might have been a strategy for him to gain the power that he's looking for over there. Hopefully that's not the case, but then again, you never know people until you know people, and that might be something that he's trying to make moves for. That doesn't seem that like he's affected by it. Doesn't seem like he cares pretty much. I do appreciate that he does stand by what he says, because I don't think anybody should be persuaded to think a different way. But it's just you should be sensitive to what other people might think when you come up with things like that, especially when you do it in a public space, just like he did.
That's just crazy, calling them animals and stuff, man.
Yeah, it's just wrong. I mean, you can't do that. Like even if he believes that truly, you can't just come out and say something like that and expect that everything's gonna be fine. Like, I wholeheartedly disagree with the man, but it's just something you don't do. You can't do that. He's gonna. I mean, maybe he doesn't care. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's going out to politics and that was a political move. In which case, maybe that does make some kind of sense to him. I don't know, but in the boxing world, all he did was just end his career sooner than it needs to end. He's gonna get his fight with Bradley. It's already signed and it's gonna be over. But if you were gonna get maybe 1 million buys in that fight, probably not. It was probably gonna be something like.
Nah, it's not gonna be 1 million. Nah, because the last one he had was like before like the Mayweather one. I forgot who he fought, but I think he got like 350,000 buys.
Yeah, but I mean, Bradley's a little bit more, of a fighter than Algeria of a name. So I still don't see it being a lot. But let's just, whatever the case may be, let's say it was going to get 250,000 buys. You think that by saying something like that, only the folks in the gay community are going to not buy it? Like, I'm not going to buy it.
I mean, it's a weird animal when it comes to ratings because you never know what people are thinking. I mean, are they gonna say, "I'm not gonna buy it," and then the day before they're gonna say, "You know what? I am gonna buy it because I want to see his ass get knocked out, or I want to see him lose,
Or
so you can see how it feels when he's on the floor."
you imagine
Stuff like that.
You imagine if it has the Trump kind of effect. You see how Trump just says the craziest shit, and everybody, or you see all these people that you would never thought. I mean, they're all supporting him and stuff. You imagine something like that happens, and he gets a whole mess of buys. That's crazy.
And it's dangerous too because at the same time, a lot of people also believe that if those ratings come back and they're tremendous, there is also it can also turn into another bomb where people are gonna say, oh, so everybody believes that, just like Manny. That's why they supported Manny. That's why his ratings are so high. Now we have another whole problem because there's one thing that Manny Pacquiao decided to say for his political gains or whatever it might be. I know that one person that wasn't too happy about it was Dave Bautista. His mother, as he stated, it was a lesbian, and he didn't appreciate his words at all. I think his quote was, "He can take his words and shove them up his ass," or in that sense. So yeah, I mean, that's just something that's gonna have to. We're just gonna have to wait and see how this boils up and what's gonna happen. Where he's gonna be fighting Bradley pretty soon. Do we know when that is, guys?
I think it's in April, right?
I believe so. But we'll see what happens on that day, and then and I'm pretty sure this is gonna keep boiling. And I'm sure if you guys look on Twitter right now, they're probably talking about it right now. But on that, we're gonna go ahead and end Mr. Pac-Man's section and talk about Cowboys versus Cowboys. This is gonna be on Fight Night on Fox Sports 1. That'll be tomorrow. Today's the 20th of February. It will be the 21st of February. Portelu, you're gonna give your picks for the Fight Night and your predictions.
Yes, I am. In regards to the Cowboy versus Cowboy, I'm gonna roll with my boy Cowboy Cerrone. I can't pick against him.
I thought you were gonna say, as regards to Cowboy versus Cowboy,
I'm gonna go with the
Cowboy.
Yeah, I'm going with Cerrone. To me, he's a true cowboy right there. I mean, he's the original to me. The Cowboy Oliveira, he's good. I followed him couple of fights there. He's good. He's not that technical, striking whatnot, but he's very good all around. But to me, Cerrone takes him out within the third round. That's how I see it going down. You know, Cerrone's a slow starter. He starts off slow, which hurt him in the Dos Anjos fight. It hurt him because that's how he usually starts. He starts off slow and then starts picking it up, and that hurt him because Dos Anjos just cracked him to the body right from the get-go and dismantled him and shit. But
I wanted to ask you about that. Cowboy Cerrone, do you see him as one of those fighters that is just going to be, you're going to have that Robert Guerrero, which is a great fighter, entertaining as hell. You're going to love watching it. You're not going to have a boring fight. It's going to be awesome. Is he going to be that kind of fighter, or do you see him as being as having a goal or something? Because I don't know where he is.
I mean, I see him. I know what you're talking about because I've actually thought that, and I kind of feel half and half. Sometimes I just feel like he's just always going to be there, but never enough to win the belt. Sometimes I feel that, and then sometimes I feel like even that Dos Anjos fight, I feel as if because he's a slow starter. He's known for that. He said himself that he's a very slow fighter, and as the fight progresses, that's when he starts stepping it up. I felt that in the actual Dos Anjos fight that if that wouldn't have happened, he got cracked to the stomach and went down and whatnot. If that wouldn't have happened, I actually felt that he could beat Dos Anjos within the second, third round. But I can't just shut him down already and kind of say he's never gonna make it, because I see him being able to go on another run and being able to make it. I still can't shut him down as just that fighter that's going to have just that enough to stay up there in the upper echelon there. I mean, winning like always ranked top 10 and whatnot, but not
good.
ever.
You know,
I can't place him there yet.
He's good, and he definitely brings it all the time. You know, I get what Francisco's saying too. Is like, is he gonna become that guy that just everybody has to beat before they can beat the champion? You know, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely possible because he seems to not be able to win the belt when he gets, you know, in there. But I love Cowboy, man. He's so entertaining, and he puts a lot into his fights, a lot into his craft. And I hope one day he does win it because he's a really entertaining dude. He seems like a really good guy. I really like watching him fight, and I hope that he can win it someday.
I mean, in regards to my pick, then I'm going Cowboy Cerrone. I just think he's more technical with his striking, his kickboxing. Muay Thai is more technical.
I mean, if I'm picking, I take Cerrone also.
Yeah. And on the groundwork, he's good. His submissions are good. His guard, I mean, he's good. I think he takes it. What about you, Gia?
I'm gonna have to say Cowboy Cerrone as well. I mean, like I said before, he was one of the first guys that I saw fighting along with Lyoto Machida and Nick Diaz that I actually felt entertained. Like, hey, this guy's bringing something to the table, and he's very entertaining. Every time I saw him, he was entertaining. That time when he was kicking that guy on the floor, what was his name, Franklin? That he wouldn't get up. He was laying on his back.
Fury. What's his name again?
It was great.
I know you're talking. I think his last name is Fury.
His attitude towards the sport is like it's kind of like having that one. He's like an icon almost of the sport, where it's like, hey, you need to respect this guy, and if you fight him and you actually defeat him, then you earn your respects. But you do need to earn the fight, and I love people like that, and that's why I would go with him every time he fights. Yeah, I go for a couple Cerrone. I guess we got it all three to Cerrone. Oliveira, good luck.
This is a very oddly agreeable podcast so far.
Yeah, we're not.
That's rare. That's rare. It'll get to the point where we'll disagree, but and for the rest of that fight card though, we have Brunson versus Carneiro. I'm taking Brunson.
Brunson, yeah.
We have Garbrandt versus Mendez. I have Garbrandt. And Bermudez versus
Mendez on that one.
And Bermudez versus Kawajiri. I'm going Bermudez on that. That is Bermudez. What about you guys?
Yeah, I got Bermudez too.
All right, and then we got Kamosi versus Joe Riggs. I'm going with the old man, Joe Riggs. I think he pulls it off again. What about you guys?
He's a Cinderella man.
He is a Cinderella man.
I think he pulls it off again.
Nah, I think he's gonna lose. I think that
you got Kamosi.
Yeah, that has to end sometime. It's not even about his opponent. It's just. Yeah. I mean,
luck can only push you so far.
We got Cross versus Kimbo. I'm going Kimbo on the last card, on the last fight of the main card there. Okay. Those are my picks.
I pretty much agree with those. You know, I see that.
You don't think Joe Riggs is gonna pull it off though, man?
No, that's the one I don't agree with. I don't know.
I think the old man's gonna pull it off, man.
Nah, man, it's got to end sometime, man.
Let's see. I put money on him already. I bet so. Hopefully he pulls it off, bro.
I mean, I kind of hope so too. It's kind of cool, but I just okay. You know.
But before we get out of the MMA section, what are your guys' thoughts on CM Punk so far as his career in the UFC? How's it looking for you guys? What do you guys think?
I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed. I mean, it keeps being held back, and at the same time, I hear a lot of the pros talking about it. This is like I
just want to see. It's crazy. Fight somebody
Yeah.
that's like, you know, I don't care if they have to sign a guy who's a professional MMA fighter that's like 10-10, just for him to fight, you know, or like just put him in there and let him fight.
allegedly, this is what a lot of folks are saying though. Allegedly, they're saying that he saw the dude that he's supposed to be fighting, and he saw how good he did, and after he saw how good he was, that he just popped up with this injury and went and got a surgery kind of to postpone it because he was like, okay, this guy's pretty freaking good. I don't know what to think about that. That'd be kind of fucked up if he did that. I mean, he was walking around even up until the day that he said he had that bad injury. He was walking around, no problem at all. I don't know. I mean, I just want to see what he's gonna bring already. I mean, I'm not counting him out though. I don't like the folks.
Me either. I think he's a dynamic guy. He's got a chance to do well.
Yeah. I mean, I just hate the hate because if, let's say you ever wanted to play basketball, right? And for whatever situation, you've placed yourself in a situation where you have a following and you're known, and you get this special, pretty much is like a gift thrown to you. Hey Lee, you want to play? You want to be a point guard for the Knicks? We'll let you try. You're not gonna take it, or are you gonna be like, heck with that? I made my name known from this whatever I did here, and I became famous, and I'm getting this opportunity here. I'm gonna turn it down. Yeah. Sure, yeah, you're gonna turn it down. I don't understand that hate, man. No, I mean, we don't know what the hell he's been doing yet. So I've seen before all this happened, and you know it's true, G. Because I've been telling you, I'm like, yo, look at this, look at CM Punk. He's been training with top guys, and we're freaking King Mo and all these other guys, and the Gracies doing jiu-jitsu. You would see it throughout the years on his Twitter, and you see the pictures. I really don't know how good he is. I know his striking isn't really that good, but he's with Duke Rufus out there, and I believe it's in Milwaukee out there. And I mean, who knows? Let's see how good he is.
Yeah,
I'm not going to count him out.
I'm just excited to see him actually fight. I want him to just fight already, you know, just to see what he can do. I mean, this announcement was what, damn near a year ago already, or is it past a year?
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, more than that. I mean, how long before the man fights? Like,
yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I got that feeling too when it happened, when an injury is gonna postpone his first fight even more. Now I'm like, oh my god, man! Like, I just want to see it because you know what's bad. Also, I feel like it's losing steam.
Yeah.
I feel like now the whole CM Punk he's gonna fight, blah 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 blah. Everybody's waiting. Everybody wants to see. I feel that that's fallen off a lot.
I gotta say, as a wrestling fan, that has happened because I felt that way where I was pumped. I said, hey, you know, CM Punk's going to the UFC. He's gonna show you guys what he can do. I understand the injuries. I don't really buy that story about him making stuff up because the guy, he wrestled for a long time at high pressures and high injuries, and who knows what injuries he still has that he hasn't taken care of because of the way of the beast that is, you know, the WWE. But as far as him staying up there and keeping that steam up, he could at least have made some videos, some noise, some kind of noise, something, because it just went silent. It just went dark for a long time.
You know why though, right? You know why? There's a contract or something he did. There's gonna be a film released before he actually fights, so they don't want any footage of him actually pad work, sparring, real shit. They're saving it supposedly all for like a show, or I'm not really sure exactly what it is.
Yeah, but then that's also what's hurting him because he's not out there, you know. And then all these big things are happening. You know, you have Ronda out there, Holly Holm, we have Conor McGregor. You know, all this noise going on, and boxing things are going on.
Coming back, John Jones coming back.
All these, Nick Diaz is getting his shot back.
Yeah,
and slowly it's just CM Punk is going down the ladder, and who knows? By the time he comes back, he's probably gonna have to go on an undercard, but a really good undercard, so he can kind of, you know, get his.
You think that'll happen? I'm not sure about that though. I think that Dana will still put him like the first fight of a main card. I still see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that once he actually gets in there, people will get excited again. It's just for the meantime, nobody wants to hear about him anymore until they actually know when he's gonna fight. People are kind of just getting tired. You know.
Before we leave on this MMA topics, there's something I did want to throw in. And I want to see what your opinions are in regards to Sage Northcutt.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
mean, I want to touch. I want to touch on this because it's a little. It's similar to CM Punk stuff because he had all this hype and all this stuff and all that. And I'm just gonna give my input in regards to. I'm a big fan. I don't like to hate on anybody. I'm like, let me just tear this guy down. Blah blah blah. The kid is 19 years old, freaking phenom. Been in freaking martial arts magazine since he was a kid. Black belt. I don't know how many things. The only thing that disappointed me was the way he looked in that. I don't know if I'm buying all that. He has strep throat and he can't breathe, so that's why he tapped so soon to that choke. To me, the way it looked like to me was like he's fighting. He's like, God damn, this is getting tough. Oh damn, this is getting tough. Oh damn, this guy's not going away. This is getting tough. And I saw him kind of gas out, and I could just see it in his demeanor, in his face, and it looked like he quit. It looked like he quit to me, and there's when there's a skill gap, I understand that he's not as technical in the ground game. I think he has to pick up his boxing a little bit also and whatnot. But the thing that got me, what hit me, and like I said, I'm still a fan. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he comes back and he freaking annihilates again. He's only 19 years old, and please, no hate on this guy or nothing like that. But I just hate that I felt like he quit. I felt like he just quit. Even his demeanor, his face, his expression while it was happening, it looked like he quit to me. That's my take on it, and hopefully I'm wrong. Like I said, hopefully he comes back and annihilates and everything. But what's your view on this?
I mean, for me, I really like Sage Northcutt. You know, the skill-wise, the man is he's a phenom. There's no question about it. His karate skills are just ridiculous. He's highly entertaining. You know, I could see why the other thing too is, I mean, the UFC pushed him fast, and maybe he did it. You know, like maybe he wanted to fight that fast. I don't know if he wanted to fight that fast or if the UFC wanted to fight, but what was that? His fourth fight in like. Was it his third fight in 4 months?
I think third fight in 4 months.
Yeah, third fight in 4 months. I mean, that's a lot. I understand that he didn't take damage and whatever, but you still got to go through some sort of training camp every time. You still got to, you know, and he's 19 years old, and that's a young kid, man. Like that's a lot. You don't know to him what that was like. You know, nobody really knows behind the scenes if maybe he's extra tired. Maybe he did have strep throat. Maybe he got sick because he did nothing but training all the time. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't know if he did or he didn't. But all I can say is I really hope that he comes back and he comes back strong. Because I like watching him fight.
He needs full time to TriStar too. Because he's in TriStar, but he's not there full time. And he's kind of been like, if you could even call it part time. Most of his training he's been doing in Texas. Like a lot of folks said, I think he should go to TriStar, do your full training in TriStar for a top MMA gym, day in and day out with GSP and all these top guys of Tarek Safadine, McDonald, Rory McDonald, all these top guys. You should be there entirely. You have everything that you need there. You have all your grappling, jiu-jitsu, your striking. And you got Faraz. He's a freaking genius as a coach. I think he should stay there and do his whole training camps there. Supposedly, it looks like that's what he's going to do now from now on. He's going to be out there in Montreal, in Canada, and do the training at TriStar like damn near 100% of the time now. Hopefully he does
that. He should do that. You know, whatever gives you the best chance to succeed is what you should do. If that's your career, you know, like you gotta put everything into it.
I think it's just he's a kid. We've all said the same thing. He's a kid.
When are we gonna start fighting?
He just came out. I don't know. The kid came out fighting when he was in diapers. I guess I don't know. He must have thrown a fly kick somewhere. I call him the Super Saiyan. He reminds me of a hyper Super Saiyan version of the bully from the Karate Kid, and he's gonna be one of those kids that he's gonna be around. He's gonna do well. He lost one fight out of the 3 that he had in less than how many months? 4 months.
4 months, yeah.
Yeah, so what are we complaining about?
You know what
That's
sucked?
fine.
You know what sucked?
I don't think people should. The way that people jumped on him was the same way that people jumped on Ronda,
Yeah, I thought that was
and
wrong.
that,
You know,
and I
like
think one thing that I didn't expect from Ronda, I expected from Sage, and it was kind of like vice versa, where Sage was more like, "Hey, it's cool, whatever, guys. I know I sucked. I guess I did suck. I'll be back." And Ronda was, "Oh, I can't believe I lost everything." I expected actually the opposite, where Sage would have maybe have been, "Wow, I did all this training all my life, and now I suck." And Ronda would have said, "Hey, I lost. I'll be back, and I'm gonna get my belt back." But it happened the other way around, which was strange for me. But it's okay. I mean, he's young. He's got a lot of skills and a lot of talent, and he makes a lot of noise, which is what the UFC loves, and that's probably why they drained him for those 4 months.
You know what sucked? That a lot of fighters, that sucked to me. That a lot of fighters were the ones to freaking rag on him.
yeah, and
On Twitter,
that's what I
everything.
meant when I said that was so wrong. Like
Fighters,
You know.
like professional fight, like, and you don't see that in any other sport. You don't see that in the NBA. You don't see NBA players ragging on another player because he lost or he did bad. That's there should be more unity in regards to, like, the fighters in MMA and whatnot. I don't understand why so many people they were ragging on him and just that was
more like locker room gossip. That's what that felt like, except that it was public on Twitter and all the.
I mean, they're mad because he gets paid more than they do, and he's new. But hey, he came in with a lot of hype, and he puts he puts asses on the seats. I mean, he people want to see him. If you guys that I never understood. If you're a fighter and you're not getting paid good, it's because you're either not that good or you don't have a personality to sell or something. I mean, that's don't white. So you're gonna hate a 19-year-old because he kind of has a star power. He has kind of like that it factor. You're gonna hate on him because of that. I don't understand that at all.
And I agree with that, and I think he does put asses on seats. And talking about asses on seats, let's go ahead and talk about Oscar De La Hoya. Allegedly, he's in talks with Jerry Jones, trying to get the Dallas Stadium. Do you guys think that Triple G and Canelo can get all those asses on all those seats?
What, Lee, what is it? Isn't it like 80,000? Cowboy Stadium is like 80,000. Is it? Or 79,000?
I think it's about 80,000.
Get the out of here with that. That is, that makes no sense to me. They should not listen unless they're gonna freaking sell those things for $1 a seat or something like that. I don't see them filling that up for 80,000 people. With Triple G, Canelo get people there, but Triple G, man, and you know how I feel about Triple G. G, I know you think he's the freaking savior of freaking boxing. I think he's killing it. He's destroying. I mean, he's killing it, destroying it in a bad way. Doesn't face anybody. To me, it makes no sense. Keep it at the MGM. Keep it in Vegas. Sell out 20,000 or something like that.
Or put it in Madison Square Garden or something. Like.
Listen, as long as as long as Canelo defeats Khan and Triple G moves past Wade and gets that WBA secured, I think that the hype and the time frame, because I don't see this happening until maybe November, and as that can work. I mean, I don't know about 80,000 people.
Look, I think,
but I don't know exactly how. Well, I think they do have 80,000 if it's a boxing ring. I know it's 80,000 if it's last WrestleMania. I think it was 80,000 or 70,000 or something.
I mean, the thing to me is, you're gonna do that, you have to have superstars. I don't even think Canelo's yet a superstar. I think he's getting up there. But stuff like that, man, you gotta have kind of. It has to be on some Mike Tyson in his prime versus.
Well, I think Canelo right now is the face of boxing. I believe that.
Who, Canelo?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, I would say that.
Right now he is. I don't see anybody else being, the face of taking over Floyd's spot. Even though the pound for pound is strongly more weighed on Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez, but Canelo has fought fighters that have a higher class, higher quality than Chocolatito, I mean, not to take anything away from Chocolatito, he has fought many times, and all those times he's performed tremendously, and that's what brings out attention towards him. That's what got him out here into the States. So, but as far as anybody else being the face, I don't see anybody else being the face except for Canelo. Andre Ward had his chance. He hasn't come back in a while, so I don't see him.
Hater.
It's just the truth. Who else do we have up there? Bradley. Bradley is not.
Nah, get the hell out of here, Bradley.
The face.
You know who I think can become the face, especially now that we finally have an American heavyweight fighter, Wilder. But I don't know. I'm not sure why Wilder's not really taking off like that. I mean, he's a champion already. He's undefeated. What is he?
36 I think, right? But he's another guy though. He hasn't really fought the best fighters. I mean, the Stewart fight was good, you know.
I just hate. That's the thing I hate, man. That I just freaking hate it. Because in MMA, you have especially in UFC, you always have the best versus the best. And you know what fight they're gonna have next? Oh, they're gonna fight the other best guy. And you know what's after that? The other best guy. So it's always the best versus the best. I want to see Wilder fighting freaking Anthony Joshua and fighting Tyson Fury and fighting Klitschko, all that stuff.
I don't know if Anthony Joshua is ready to go up that fast, because to me he's another Sage Northcutt where he's getting all the attention pretty quickly, but he's not really there yet. I don't feel he's really there yet.
Technically, he's not.
He can defeat a lot of the fighters out there in the heavyweight division right now, but I don't think he should go up so quickly. But you're right.
I think Anthony Joshua. I think he beats Klitschko. I think Anthony Joshua beats Klitschko, and I think he beats Fury. I think he beats Fury also.
Of how smart Klitschko is when he fights.
No. That works. I've been telling you that before. That works when you fight tomato cans, whatever the heck it is, or guys that are a lot smaller than you. And the first thing I said, I was like, "Watch, he's gonna fight Fury." And Fury, I'm not really a Fury fan.
But listen, that Fury,
and you saw what happened. He couldn't use his size. He couldn't use his leaning over at you, and he couldn't use any of that. But you saw what happened.
He could beat him. He could beat Fury.
He was neutralized.
Definitely.
I don't even know if he can beat Fury, man, because he's never been that great. And he, out of the two Klitschkos, to me, Vitaly was the better one. He was better and had a good chin. Vladimir, he gets clipped, man, he's going to sleep. So if he fights Anthony Joshua, he gets knocked out. If he fights Wilder, he gets knocked out even faster.
I don't know, man. Klitschko is one of those smart fighters, just like Floyd was, and it's just one of those things where you need to figure them out for you to beat them. That Fury and Klitschko fight, it wasn't so much about any kind of strategy. It was just
that was a horrible fight.
It was a mess. It was like Klitschko didn't want to be there. He didn't feel like fighting.
It wasn't
and then the only times that he ever even decided to throw his straight punches, which is what was more effective for him, he actually did connect those. But then afterwards, it was like when Chavez Jr. fought Sergio Martinez, that it seemed like Klitschko was high as well. It felt that way.
Yeah, but what happened there. My whole thing, though, when I watched that fight, and it wasn't because Klitschko didn't want to do what he wanted to do or he wasn't himself. It was because this dude was bigger than him. And what he does just wasn't working against him. He's used to fighting smaller dudes that he can bully. He has a size advantage on. He can kind of lean on and do all that stuff. He couldn't do it with Fury. Fury was just slightly taller than him. He was bigger. So he just could not – he couldn't implement what he wanted to implement. That's the only reason you saw what you saw. So if Fury would have been shorter, he would have been able to do what he does and use his size and kind of keep him apart and pop that jab and that straight. So it wasn't because of it wasn't his night or anything like that. It was just he fought Fury and Fury's bigger than him and he couldn't implement the big man tactics on him. So
do you guys feel that maybe is the PBC HBO Oscar De La Hoya strategy working where boxing is coming back a little bit, or do you think it's
To me, that PBC stuff, it was good in the beginning, but we always said that there's not enough talent to. They kept
man,
being
you
the
had
same fighters.
what's his name? Peter Quillen fought 3 times in in there in 1 year. Like they were bringing guys back for multiple fights. I'm fine
Agent
with
Brody.
that. If they're good and they're I will say that the PBC fights were more entertaining than a lot of the fights I've seen on HBO in quite some time. But the biggest problem is not about where it is or who's doing it. It's about all this promotion, man. Like all these promoters, and my guy's not fighting this guy, and I can't deal with this guy, and my promoter won't talk to your promoter. That's all nonsense. That's what has to get out of here. It doesn't matter where the fights are. They just got to fight. You know?
That's really
what happened with PBC. What happened with PBC also? I mean, I rarely see that anymore. And even when it's on, it's rarely promoted. And that's because they have Al Hyman and stuff. They've gotten on him now, and it looks like they're trying to actually shut that down, man. So I don't even look. It started off great.
It's that it's everywhere. PBC, it's just everywhere. I mean,
like
one day it's on one channel, the next day it's on another channel. It's so hard to keep up with it because it just flips back and forth, and they don't really promote it that well unless you actually follow it. You're an actual fan and you follow it. I think they could do better with that as far as the promotions for the fights. Even if it's not a big fight, you should still throw some promotions out there if what you're trying to really get is get the boxing.
Holy crap, bro! I'm agreeing with Gia on some boxing stuff, bro.
I know. I agree with him. Podcast ever,
for real. We're usually going back and forth, freaking arguing. But I have to agree with him there. I mean, there's just no promotion. I'm like, I find out, they're fighting. I'm like, what? They're fighting what? You have to literally be on PBC.com and literally be there every freaking day, every other day. Oh, okay, they're gonna fight blah 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 day and this time this channel because it's really no promotion.
Already. At least like 3 or 4 times, I get the notification on my phone, and it's like such and such beat such and such on PBC, and I'm like, I didn't even know there was a fight. Like I didn't see any promotion for this anywhere. It's not online. It's not on TV and commercials. Nothing.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching out there, PBC, HBO, Showtime, get your stuff together.
Promote it.
We want these fights. We want these people to watch boxing. We want them to watch UFC. I don't feel that it's a war between UFC and boxing. I think it should all work well together. I don't see why it has to be a battle, but get this stuff going.
That's why I disagree with you. I always, and it is what it is. A lot of the vast majority have moved over from boxing to MMA. Simply because the best are always fighting the best in MMA. It's to me, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, it's just more dynamic. It's more exciting. Tyson says it back always. Every time they interview, he's like, it's just more exciting, and the best are always fighting the best.
But what I mean by that is, I'd rather have a good Friday night fight than have a good Saturday night MMA. And then if there's 2 pay-per-views on Sundays, I pick whichever I want. I want to have variety. I can choose what I want. That would be perfect for the fans.
I'm cool with that. But the thing with me, what I say is that it does impact. Boxing never had another combat sport that kickboxing never goes anywhere. And I'm glad that Glory got signed now to Fight Pass and whatnot. And Bellator is actually going to have Bellator kickboxing. I love kickboxing. And I like Muay Thai, but those never ever took off ever. This is the first time that boxing's ever had a combat sport that actually rivals it, and it's actually taking it over in regards to ratings and how people follow it. I mean, UFC has so many pay-per-views that did 1 million and over 1 million this year. They had the best year in the company's history. So I mean, to me, it's always an impact when MMA is doing real good, and MMA has a lot of superstars. They have Ronda. They have now Holly. They have Conor McGregor. This dude's a freak. They have freaking Anderson Silva's coming back. GSP is on his way back. It looks like he's on his way back. John Bones Jones is coming back. They have so many superstars that people know. Like when you talk, hey, who's the light heavyweight champion of the world? vast majority be like, oh, isn't it that Joe Bones guy, the Bones Jones? They won't even, who's the light heavyweight champion of the boxing? Most don't even know. It's like Kovalev or anything like that. So to me, it's not that it's gonna pretty much boxing's gonna disappear, but whenever MMA is real high, it's gonna impact boxing. Boxing's gonna kind of go down. If boxing ever, some Mike Tyson-esque type of boxer ever pops up or some crazy stuff like that, and he doesn't go to MMA, he goes to boxing, trust me, it's gonna impact MMA. Believe me. If Triple G would have been the type of guy that would have been fighting all the best guys back to back and boom, 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 just taking them out on some Mike Tyson-esque kind of thing, believe me, it would have impacted MMA, man. I'm telling you right now, it would have impacted. The thing with MMA also is that you get everything, though. You do get boxing. Boxing is part of MMA. So it's part of that also. So that's where we disagree. I mean, I think they can both coexist. But believe me, when one is doing great, the other one is going to feel the impact.
Oh wait, yeah, that's a normal thing. It's just like boxing and MMA is never gonna have more viewership than WWE. That's just a common sense kind of thing because of the fan base that it has. But hey, we're not gonna argue about that because we've already proven that. I mean, it's got more followers, more viewership, more pay. If they were still on pay-per-view, they still sell out. We just talked about
their pay-per-views. Their pay-per-views are actually hurting a lot. That's why they went to that WWE the network, because their pay-per-views are hurting. That's why.
We will still sell out a stadium faster than any other sport. That's the WWE. It's a monster of a field, and just because of the kind of system that they have,
it's a whole event. It's an event.
Yeah. But we can do that as well. UFC and boxing can do that as well. They kind of do it here and there. Conor McGregor is a perfect example of a WWE character. If you grab that character and you slap it into an MMA fighter, that's Conor McGregor.
I don't see it like that. Boxing already had their version of that in Ali. Even though Ali lived in it was a different era. The stuff he did was even more extreme than what Conor does. I forgot what fighter it was that Ali was fighting. He would go and drive up to his home at nighttime and freaking throw rocks and yell at him, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill you!" Blah, blah, blah. Yo, Ali was crazy. Yeah, Ali was crazy. Who was it?
Joe Frazier. He would put a picture. He would put a picture in he would put a picture of himself.
It was insane. Like
Joe Frazier was working out so he could see himself.
The stuff that Ali did was insane, bro. So I don't really see it as a wrestling kind of thing or whatever. I just think there's just fighters like that are cocky, really believe in themselves.
In wrestling, that's all it is. That's why everybody's like that, because they gotta be like that, because they're selling you something that is a show. It's not really just about the fight. Everybody wants to see it. It's almost like a soap opera. And the acting show, it's crazy. I mean, it's not for me anymore. I used to like it when it was WWF back in the day. I just can't get into it now just because I know it's not real. And that's what, keeps me away from it. But
what I like about it now
is the amount of, production work that goes into those things.
Yes, that exactly. That's what I enjoy about it, is the production work, the whole business of it, how they make things work, how they perform.
I'm sorry, kids. If you're watching this and you didn't know that wrestling wasn't real, don't pay attention to what I just said.
Damn it, Lee, you killed
Don't blame me. Blame me too.
Damn it, Lee, you killed it for them, Lee.
It's just a performance like no other, and that's what drives people there to watch them. You got 30, 40, 50-year-old people there watching the shows. And it's just because of the quality of that they give you. I don't see why UFC and boxing can't do that. They can give all that quality. They can't. But Conor McGregor is a perfect example of it. He makes all that noise. I'm sure he might be slightly that person, but I'm pretty sure he turns it up to 10 when the cameras are on. Yeah, why? Because he knows it's gonna drive people to.
But the UFC, they put up events. Boxing doesn't put up events. The UFC boxing is. I'm not saying boxing is as far as that's concerned is at the same level as UFC. I think UFC has
has a better production system when it comes to drawing the fans. McGregor being the face, to me being the face right now. It's just that they should all take that from. I mean, I think Dana kind of did take that from WWE a little bit, where he noticed it and he knows exactly how the business works. That's why he's probably so smart and he's the main head guy in that area.
They can do that, but I think that there's a difference though. Like, you don't want it to become just a big show. Like, the focus on UFC and boxing is the fight itself. And everything is geared towards just amping up that fight. Whereas in wrestling, it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to amp up this fight, but we're also going to put in 12 sideshows of this person doesn't like this person today. And they turn it into like almost like a TV episode of
it's exactly what it is. And they got to have a twist, and they got to have an add-on, because it's a never-ending story pretty much, where if Lee has the belt, well, then Potelu's gonna face Lee, and then all of a sudden at the end, somebody's gonna come and interrupt and take the belt, and something happens. Now we got another one, and we keep it going as as the thing goes along. But just the performances is amazing what they do as business-wise, and how they handle their people. Before, the way they used to handle it was horrible. But up until after Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, things have changed a lot, and they're a lot more strict, especially when it comes to performance medication and all these people in UFC and in boxing. Yeah, I like to say performance medication, because that's what a lot of them call it. No, it's just I took a pill for headaches and it turned out to have steroids.
Oh my God, how did that happen?
It was a Benadryl. It had like steroids in it.
I had no knowledge that these drugs were in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we know what's up. We're not dumb. We're your fans, and we just want good shows, and hopefully that's what's going to happen in the future. We get a lot more of that. But as far as Canelo and Amir Khan, what do you guys think on that fight?
I think that Canelo mollywops the crap out of Khan. Canelo's just physically bigger, stronger. You saw what happened against Cotto, and Cotto was boxing the shit out of him. It just didn't matter. You boom, catch him, and you can see it did not phase him at all. No, you just saw Canelo's reactions, kind of like ta, all right, and just kept moving forward like nothing he could do. So what I see happening against Khan, I just see Khan kind of tiring out once he starts getting Canelo gets in and rips the body and stuff like that. Khan has no freaking chin. I think Canelo catches him, bro. It's. Man, I don't see that going past the 6th round.
The only chance for me that Khan even has at all is if he tries his best to be on a bicycle for 12 rounds, jab, occasional right cross. That's it. Like, you got to be on the bicycle. You got to fight a Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah,
I think
he's not Floyd Mayweather, buddy.
I mean, I think that's what's going to happen. He's got a little bit of speed and whatever, but he's not Floyd Mayweather. I just don't even. I mean, eventually, I don't know what round it'll be. Eventually, Canelo's going to catch him, and it's going to be lights out, game over.
Khan's footwork is not there. Khan's defense is not there. He's gonna get caught. I don't see it going past the 6, man.
He's already been.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
As powerful as Canelo.
He gets clipped. Boom! You see him right away. Algieri clipped him and had him wobbly. Yeah. Algieri. Come on.
Which, by the way, I want to see him again, because I think he did great in that fight. He performed well, and I think he looked a lot better in that fight than in the previous ones. There's something in there, and I think he can do it. He just needs to train a little bit better. But all right, so we got Khan and Canelo. You guys picking Canelo? I'm picking Canelo as well. I don't think Khan is gonna.
Listen, everybody out there, we usually argue a whole lot. So it's really strange to me that there's not.
This
that
is
much
why,
movement
yeah,
going
this is
on.
why I'm laughing because
You
it's
can't
so
really
odd.
argue about Canelo versus Khan. I mean, who the heck? Who really thinks Khan's gonna win?
I think Khan should have always should have gone with another Danny Garcia fight, and you know that would have probably been better for him. I don't think Canelo versus Khan was a good idea for him personally. Monetary wise, maybe, but
I'm sure
personally, no.
monetary is a bigger payday than anything else he's gonna get. So that's probably
Yeah.
why he's like, yeah, I'll do it. You know.
And then Triple G fighting Dominic Wade on April 23rd.
Who?
Dominic Wade.
Who is that? Who is he? What's his record?
He's got a
Where's
decent
he from?
record, just not with
Where's he
decent
from?
fighters. I think the one fight that he,
that guy is, man.
the last guy he beat was
That's
a
why I get
decision
pissed.
fight.
Now you guys wanted to see a little confrontation and debate. There we go. Triple G once again.
It's a mandatory fight.
I'm not going to insult the guy. I'm not going to insult the guy.
Wait.
Once
Dominic
again,
Wade
fighting
is
something nobody
actually the
knows.
mandatory challenger.
Yes, he is. He's the mandatory challenger for the WBA. It's a fight that had to happen.
I'm so tired of hearing the mandatory this and the I don't want to hear that, GI. Come on.
Listen.
Who is this guy? For real.
Listen, even your commentator Andrew Ward said that Triple G is just a man.
Bro. A whole freaking career of this, the Pepe Le Pews of the world, and who are these? Yo, man.
David Lemieux is a very good fighter. He just didn't have enough to take out Triple G. It's just gonna mess with Triple G. David Lemieux is just not on Triple G's level. Triple G's a monster, man. You're not gonna stop Triple G.
Triple G should have fought freaking Lara already, Canelo already, Ward already. He should be trying to fight Kovalev.
No. Ward hasn't been able. Ward can't fight because he's too busy commentating and he's busy dealing with lawsuits.
Before the whole contract disputes, Ward wanted to fight Triple G, and Triple G didn't want to.
Sure, of course.
It's on the record. It's on the record. You can look it up.
Okay. And Julio Cesar Chavez wanted to fight Mike Tyson. I get that. Okay.
Please.
Listen. Andre Ward is not on my radar right now until he fights somebody. Just like you say about Triple G. It's funny how you say this about Triple G, but you don't say that about Andre Ward, even though he had a Super Six.
Andre Ward paid his dues.
Andre
Ward has fought great fighters.
Almost 3 years ago. I'm not going to give him credit for that right now.
Listen,
I'm not giving him credit for that right now.
He did that. He did the tournament. He won it. He's faced his freaking resume is way more legit than Triple G's. And I mean, this is only his second fight back. He's gone for almost 2 years. He has tune-up fights.
This is second warm-up.
The second one, yeah. He's been for almost 2 years.
Warm-up is his first
Paul
fight
Smith
at a new weight.
No, Paul Smith was
fighting
exactly, and he's moving up.
A guy that he, you know, like I don't know, man.
Yo, Lee, you want to hear this? Triple G's whole career has been tune-up fights. How do you feel about that?
That's true.
Listen,
for the most part.
How is it that if Mayweather takes 2 years off and comes back and fights
getting a headache
and fights Lee Wachowski,
All
right? If he comes back and he fights Lee, are we gonna say, oh yeah, he deserves to fight that fight? He needs a warm up. No, Floyd Mayweather was the best ever. Okay, so Andre Ward is the son of God. The son of God is supposed to be. The son of God is supposed to be equal to the best ever. So if you come back after 2 years, you shouldn't be fighting warm-ups. You should be fighting people at least ranked.
Well,
don't give me somebody that
fight Kovalev in a short amount of time. So
yeah, he's gonna fight Kovalev too. Man,
he's gonna. That's what his.
You're gonna get used to this, folks. Look at me right here.
That's gonna be his transition from.
GI is a Triple G fanatic. Triple G can do no wrong.
Is the man.
In this man's eyes, he can do no wrong at all. Listen, I it's not that much that I hate Triple G. I don't hate him. I don't hate him actually.
You do hate him because you take everything out on Triple G. You don't take it out on. He doesn't schedule his fights. He has promoters. He has teams that do that. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, but you gotta be able to stand up and say, no, you know what?
Yeah,
I want to fight somebody.
I don't want to hear it. It's
that.
him.
He did do that. He did do that. That's what got him to where he's at now. He said, "Listen, I need to get better fights," and now he's the middleweight champion.
What fights did he get?
He fought all the ranked fighters in the middleweight division. Who else is he gonna fight?
Yo, Lee.
Bernard Hopkins wants to fight him. Andre Ward wants to fight him. Lara called him out.
Ward is not middleweight.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Ward was at 168.
Lara calls him out. He doesn't even pay attention to him.
Fight him. We know this. We know why Lara cannot fight him.
BS.
That's not Triple G's fault. Triple G doesn't control HBO.
Oh my God. I'm so.
You know this. Do you not know this? Lara.
He doesn't help HBO either, selling 97,000 pay-per-views.
97,000 pay-per-views, bro.
Sells more than Andrew Ward has. How much has Andrew Ward sold lately?
Listen.
Thank you.
Keep going back to his Andre Ward. The man was out for damn near 2 years.
Because you keep pointing out Andre Ward.
He's doing this.
That's
okay,
why
what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say if he does a second tune-up fight, and then after the second tune-up fight, he fights Kovalev? What are you gonna say then?
Oh, when he fights Kovalev?
No, this is exactly what I'm saying.
Is the end of it. He already got his casket set. It's done. It's done. He's gonna go back to commentating. This poor guy is gonna lose.
Listen, it doesn't matter who wins or loses that fight. What matters is he's gonna get into the ring with him, and that will be a better fighter than anybody Triple G has ever fought, and Andre Ward will do it with 3 fights.
Because Triple G's gonna fight. Triple G's fighting Canelo.
That's another thing. No. Let's go. Let's touch base on this. On this.
Okay.
Triple G and Canelo. Listen, this is another thing that gets me pissed, and this is where you see that his camp and him, they don't really want to face the best. Canelo is the freaking A side, however way you cut it. I don't want to hear no mandatory nothing. Canelo does not need that middleweight belt. Canelo's only going to fight that fight. No, hold on. Canelo's going to fight that fight and then leave the middleweight anyways and go back to his weight class. Listen, Canelo's the A side. You have Triple G, the B side, the one that pulls 97,000 pay-per-view buys, saying, "I won't fight you unless it's exactly 160." And Canelo has said it repeatedly. The fight has to be at 155, 156, which is the limit still for middleweight.
Yeah, it's
still a middleweight bout. How the heck you haven't fought nobody legitimate, and you have Canelo, the guy that's gonna get you money in your pockets, telling you no, we have to fight at this, and you're the one acting like if you're Mayweather.
You're thinking about things that have nothing to do.
It's either 160 or nothing goes.
You're thinking about things that has nothing to do with you or what's gonna happen. This is all negotiations. He's gotta at least try to get some money out of it. You're not gonna do it. Lee's not going to do it. He's not going to try and get 50-50. I'm not going to try to get 60-40. Yes, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to get 50-50.
It's called 50-50.
It doesn't matter. I'm still going to try it. It's negotiations. That's why I'm not concerned about that, because it's going to happen. The fight's going to happen. Whether it's whatever
it might not happen. It might not happen.
It will happen. Trust me.
Canelo is not fighting him at 160 pounds. He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Canelo's going to fight him at 160.
No, he won't.
No, he won't. Why would Canelo have to do that? Why?
Why wouldn't he do that?
Because
why wouldn't he do that?
Where he wants to fight, he's fighting him because it's a.
Listen, this is not a. We're not talking about an American fighter. We're talking about a Mexican fighter, the warrior breed fighters that they're not afraid to fight anybody.
Doesn't matter. He said it. He said it himself. It's 156 or nothing, and then Triple G said, "Oh, it's 160 or nothing."
Yeah, that's part of the negotiation.
Canelo's the A side.
I'll give him 157. That's nothing.
It.
I would, 157, 158. That's probably where they're gonna end up at. I think they're gonna end up somewhere in there, 157, 158. But that's all negotiations. You're talking about negotiations. That has nothing to do with what's gonna happen.
We'll see if the fight happens.
Canelo's not gonna.
If it happens, then Triple G will have finally fought a legitimate fighter in the ring.
He has fought ranked fighters. He has been every ranked fighter.
Everybody's ranked. Everybody's ranked.
There's 100 sanctioning bodies.
Top 10 fighters. Top 10.
It's like 100 belts in boxing.
Top 10. Top 10, guys.
Doesn't matter.
A top 10 for the IBF, a top 10 for the WBA, a top 10 for the WBC, a top 10 for the WBA. There's a billion top 10s.
Yeah.
How many belts does he have?
Irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
How many belts does he have right now?
Ooh, Triple G?
Yes.
How many did he get by beating an actual champion?
How many ran away?
Who ran away?
None of them fought. That's how he got the belt.
Fought for interim belts, and he fought against another guy who wasn't a champion for a vacant belt. He's never actually stepped into the ring with a real champion. David Lemieux did have a belt, but he didn't get his belt by beating a champion either. He got it in a fight for a vacant belt.
Okay. And you saw the size difference in that fight too. You saw, just like I said, I was like, watch the size difference. Triple G looked like a freaking a weight class or two above him, bro. Just his body.
Again, you're talking about sizes. When we used to see fighters a lot smaller beating up a lot bigger fighters before.
Okay, but there's no competition. There's no competition for Triple G to push himself and move his name up, become a star. The stars are in the 168, at the 172 division, 174 light heavyweight. That's really where Triple G should be fighting. That's his whole build. You can see he should be 168, 172. That's where he should be.
He's always been a 160 fighter. He's never been a middleweight.
He's always been fighting dudes that he was physically bigger and stronger than. Yeah, I know. I agree.
But he's never been a super middleweight. He's always been a middleweight.
Exactly. I agree. He's always fought where he was bigger.
if you could it's not like Chavez Jr. where he never makes weight. That's a problem.
Chavez Jr.
That's where you should not. That's where it comes where it's like, okay, you're not that you don't belong in that weight division. You shouldn't be there. You need to move up.
No, that's not how it works.
He makes his weight every time on the dot without a problem.
That's okay. It doesn't mean that that's his weight class. That man walks in fight night probably like 175, 180.
Is it illegal?
It's not about that.
But
the thing is just like you're saying about the same thing like you're saying about Canelo. Oh, Mexican fighter, they like to test himself. I don't see him backing away from testing. Why doesn't Triple G test himself? If you're really that good, fight somebody your size.
Yeah, you're saying Canelo was going to test himself and he's a warrior fighter. But what happened when Andre Ward wanted to fight Triple G and all he had to do was go up 8 pounds to do it? Does that mean Triple G's not a warrior fighter?
Well, what did Ward have at the time? Ward didn't have a belt.
What? No, when Ward first wanted to fight him, Ward was the champ.
What was it? What was it? The number two pound
for pound when he called him out.
It was the pound for pound at the time, but that's irrelevant. I mean, what is Ward now?
It's irrelevant. Holy shit! Holy shit!
I'm telling you, man, those are all rumors. This is all
just. Guys, Francisco loves Triple G.
Yeah, Triple G.
You know why, guys? Because Triple G is what's bringing back the power of boxing right now.
What?
Canelo
to 97,000 people.
Robotnikov.
Next topic, please.
We got Leo Santa Cruz.
What the heck, bro?
All those guys are gonna bring it back. And
let me close this out. I'm gonna say, I don't hate Triple G. I like actually watching him fight. Like, I like to see him fight. At least I know it's going to be a knockout. You know, like, the guy's going to come, he's going to fight. But that doesn't mean he's a great fighter. It just means he's fighting guys that aren't great. And that's the bottom line. When he does that to Andre Ward or to Kovalev or to Canelo, if he KOs Canelo, I know Canelo's a little bit smaller, but he's not that much smaller. So if he KOs Canelo and knocks him out cold, something nobody's ever done in his entire career, then I'll be like, you know what? All right, the dude could be.
It's gonna happen on the 6th round.
And I've told you, Gia, that the day that he faces somebody legitimate like Andre Ward, Canelo's too small for him. But Andre Ward or Kovalev,
Canelo's not too small for him.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
A little bit smaller, but it's not like, you know.
Just a little bit. It's nothing ridiculous.
Oh, you'll see it come fight night. You will see it come fight night how much smaller he is. But when he beats somebody like Ward or Kovalev, I've told you before. Listen, on the podcast, if that ever happens, I'll rock a Triple G T-shirt and freaking be like,
No, you don't deserve to wear a Triple G T-shirt. You deserve to wear a commentator table T-shirt. Okay. You have a table with a commentator, and then the commentator is gonna be Andre Ward. I'm gonna especially make it for you because that's gonna be Andre Ward's next step. Because Triple G's not even gonna be able to fight Andre Ward because once he faces Kovalev, it's over. That's the end of the show.
I think Andre Ward beats Kovalev also. but Kovalev is a tougher fight. I think Andre Ward destroys Triple G in a boxing match. Just technically way better.
Did you send them that list of stuff that's good for knees?
Shut the hell up, man.
You haven't sent it yet? You should send it. Let them know. Keep the swelling down. Get some vapor up.
Next topic.
Robitussin or something like that, you know? But hey, we're gonna wrap it up here. I just want to let you guys know tonight, if you guys are looking for any fights, what's the fight tonight? Is in World Series of Fighting 28, isn't it?
That's World Series of Fighting. Tonight there will be, let me pull it up here. I believe it's a bantamweight. Yes, it is. The world bantamweight title fight, Moraes versus Barajas. And then the co-main event is Valiev versus Gutierrez. That's World Series of Fighting 28. That's on channel NBCSN. And that'll start at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, and then you guys have the Cowboy versus Cowboy Fight Night. That's on Fox Sports 1. That's the 21st of February. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
You also have some, for the WWE fans out there, you have WWE Fastlane. It's also on the 21st of February. You have AJ Styles versus Y2J. Okay fight. You have the Titans, the Big Show, Kane, and Ryback versus the Wyatt family. That's going to be interesting. 2 out of 3, Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. I couldn't roll my R's there. Rio. There you go. Rio. And that's also going to be an entertaining match. The main event is going to be Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. So Suplex City is going to be in the house tomorrow. If you guys want to check that out, it's on the WWE Network, and you can get that for $9.99. Oh, and you might just be able to get it for free. They might have the free for the month. Just check that out. That might work out for you. But guys, this is what we do. This is who we are. We are Fight Rant, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our first podcast here. We will be bringing you more as much as we can, and we'll check you out on the next show.
And also follow us on Twitter and subscribe and share. Share with all your friends that might be fight fans, combat sports fans. And check out FightRant.com also. We appreciate it. Give us feedback. Send us questions in regards to topics that you want us to discuss and things like that. This is pretty much a podcast from fans to fans, and that way we can communicate all together, and it'll pretty much become a Fight Rant nation.
All right, guys.
Yeah, and we really want to concentrate on that, making it a community-based thing, guys. So if you guys do, please comment as much as you like and give us your feedback, and we'll create it according to what our family here is gives off back at us. Okay.
All right, guys. Good episode. We'll talk next time.
Triple G.
Oh.
Bye, everybody.